chance to make it 28-3. Arthur Blank loving it. Up by 25. Toss to White. He's in. What a comeback.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the 28-3 podcast. Happy 4th of July, gentlemen.
Yep, 4th of July weekend.
There you go.
You were quick to tell me earlier that 4th of July was yesterday.
It was.
It's still the weekend. We're still celebrating.
We're celebrating.
You know, flew our red, white, and blue on Twitter yesterday. The
Yes.
28-3 scoreboard.
Most beautiful flag I've ever seen.
Best combination of red, white, and blue. I mean, the American flag is nice too, but you know,
It's okay.
Celebrating independence and the Falcons' independence from Super Bowl victories as well.
There we go. So today's episode, I think it's time to bring back the game show format.
Yep.
We've done it in the past with Chris Olave and Derek Carr. Today's candidate, Alvin Kamara.
Yep. Relevant, we thought. I mean, it's that time of year where, look, there's not any Saints news for us to go back and forth about. But, you know, Kamara's contract situation is relevant. We talked about it on the last episode, so I think you brought up a good point. Like, the game show format, I think, really does kind of help set the scene even for his contract negotiations. How do we feel about him as a running back? How should we feel about him in terms of placing him with other running backs?
Yeah, and just to remind everybody on how this process is going to work. So what we're doing is we're going to compare Kamara to the other projected starter for each of the 31 other teams. And then we'll pick who we think or who we would take for the 2024 season. So this is not based off of career achievements. You know, we're not basing it off of anything other than the 2024 season and how we feel that they're going to perform. Now, that being said, if the tipping point is player's salary or something like that, go ahead and feel free to you know, reference that in why you're picking a player over the other player.
Yeah, we lightly kind of dove into that with Carr, I think, because salary was an issue, and it was spurred on by everybody complaining about how much money he made. So we kind of looked at it.
Yeah.
The first go round, we looked at it, where is he paid in the league, to find out it's not nearly as bad as people thought. And then we kind of kept it in our mindset when we made our actual list down the road on the actual game show episode.
Yeah.
And we had him, I believe, down in the late teens is kind of where the average was between us. I think maybe I was 18, Max 21, Corey somewhere in the middle there, something like that. Shook out where he was about 19th or 20th. Olave, we had, without question, outside of the top 20, I think, when Max and I did that episode. So we'll see where Kamara shakes out. And this one's spurred on a little bit for a different reason. You know, we brought this topic up last year in looking at, I don't know if it's the same episode, but we were talking about the Thomas and Kamara contracts and how detrimental they've been to us for the production we got after the contracts overall. You know, Mike Thomas had the best Saints receiving year ever after the contract, but nothing after that. And AK's been very good after the contract, but it seems to be maybe on a declining scale, and we're still paying him top dollar. So we'll keep that in mind, that he is still a top 3 paid running back in the league on a yearly basis. But this is more looking at which player would you rather have on your team for this year for your team to have success.
You know, it'd be funny. Imagine if Kamara holds out the whole year and we have to redo this with the, what's his backup? I can't remember his damn name. Jamal Williams.
Oh,
if we had to do the Jamal Williams game show, my God, that'd be an easy, clean sweep.
That wouldn't be a game show.
31-0.
Yeah.
I think we're all just hoping Kendra takes over that role somehow, sometime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he has to perform. But, I think it's funny you mentioned Carr because, like, you know, we did the game show with him, and his salary was a huge factor. But this is why the game show is important, because, like, with Carr, as we predicted in that game show process, the impact of his salary compared to quarterbacks across the league, or like the league average, is gotten better for us.
Bottom third.
Yeah, I think we all agreed that Carr is properly compensated for where he shakes out in the.
But at the time we did it was like
we actually had him ranked higher than where his salary ranked, and that includes all the rookies who will have to be paid, and some of them, like you said, Trevor Lawrence just got paid. He was not paid at the time.
Right.
So, you know, I think he's fairly paid. He's a mid-tier quarterback.
With a mid-tier contract.
Correct. So
He's Mr. Mid.
you wish you weren't.
Pretty much, yeah.
You maybe wish you weren't in that situation, but he's still a better quarterback, best quarterback situation we've had since Breeze, I think, and he's paid accordingly. So it is what it is. So we just got to keep looking, and now we might be in the same boat with Kamara here. It might be time to move on really soon, and hopefully we find a better solution. But we'll go through it and see where he kind of lands.
Yeah, and before I turn it over to you, Nick, just to go ahead and run through everything, this is going to be an interesting exercise because unlike the other two, it's a blend. Because the Carr one, we knew where his contract kind of shook out, and it was more about like, I guess, equating that his performance is where his contract is. With Olave, contract didn't come into play at all. It was purely based on where he stood in the pecking order from a, I guess, performance and projection standpoint.
Yeah.
This one is a blend of the two.
Sure.
So
because with Kamara, him basically, I mean, he has a contract for next year, but because of his situation, we know that like that number for next year is kind of a moot point based on what he's trying to do, or that's just what he plays under. But it's kind of like with Card, it was set. With Kamara, not so much.
Yeah. Well, without further ado, let's get it started. Take it away, Nick.
All right, we're gonna start in the NFC so we can get a NFC ranking, and then we'll do the AFC and get a full NFL ranking.
And then just as a reminder, we're going around the horn.
Yeah.
Like
same drill.
Nick's going to read the running back on the other team, and we're going to say yes, no as far as him or Kamara.
Yeah. Right. And if you want to add a little color to it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to go in alphabetical order for the NFC teams. First up's Arizona, which is James Conner.
Go ahead, Corey.
I'll take Kamara.
What you think? This one's
tough.
Who's
man.
their number two?
Trey Benson.
Oh yeah. So the rookie. Because that Benson's ceiling might be higher than Alvin's.
Absolutely. Benson's prototypical. 6 feet, like 230.
So
fast.
basically, for teams like this that have two viable options, you can say like if either of them appeal to you more.
Yeah, for 2024.
Just for context, real quick, because I think this is going to be one of the debatable guys on the list. Last year, 1,040 yards, 5 yards a carry, 7 touchdowns, 27 receptions, 165, and 2 touchdowns.
I'm taking Conner.
Yeah, and he's younger.
By what, about a year?
I think he's, 28?
Yeah, so about the same age.
And you also got to factor in...
He's 29. So
since we're talking...
Same age, then?
Same age.
Same class, too, right?
Yep.
Since we're talking this coming season, it's AK versus the other guy in Kubiak's offense, right? So I think which makes it a totally different calculus than if we had done the game show for Alvin before last year. Him running for Pete versus him running with Clint.
Yeah, to me, they're the same age, same draft class. That Arizona team was atrocious last year. Kyler Murray didn't really play at all.
They still have Kingsbury calling their plays? Or
no, he's with
false?
Washington now.
That's right. Washington.
So Conner didn't have much of a supporting cast at all last year and still outproduced anything Kamara's done from a yardage standpoint ever. Give me Conner. And then Trey Benson. I love Trey Benson. I think Trey Benson by the end of the year, or by next year this time, we're going to be talking about Trey Benson as the starter in Arizona.
Yeah.
They still got Tony Jones, too.
Don't tell Sean Payton. He'll become a Bronco.
So, Corey, you took Kamara?
I'm taking Kamara. I'll still take Kamara. I mean,
I'm kind of leaning to Max too. I think maybe whether it's his bigger frame or less usage at part of early in his career, because he was a backup originally in Pittsburgh and then kind of lost favor there a little bit with Najee coming there. I think is that who came in?
Yeah, Najee was a first round pick. So.
Pittsburgh looks kind of dumb for doing that now.
Yeah, and I mean 5 yards a carry is 5 yards a carry,
and 1,000 yards. Kamara's never sniffed it.
So I call this is one of the closer ones for me, but I'm gonna go Conner also.
Less receptions, a lot less receptions than Alvin. 27 is like a third of what Alvin gets on a bad year.
It's true, but less touchdowns also, less production per play. It's a toss up.
This is probably the toughest one.
Right out the gates.
Right out the gates. I like it.
I can't argue with saying AK on this one.
And this is going to be a prevailing theme, but I think there's just such a bad taste left in our mouth with AK because he hasn't had Sean Payton calling his plays and Drew Brees under center for him in over 3 years now. That was such a huge deal for AK and his productivity.
Probably so.
I mean, AK really hasn't produced since the 6 touchdown game on Christmas Day. 4 years ago, he hasn't done much at all.
And we can say Connor's been in a good situation.
He's in an awful
quite-
situation.
Yeah, that's true. That's not wrong.
So for Connor also, that was a career high in yards per carry.
Yeah,
That's pretty good. But 4.3 on his career is better than AK's, I believe.
Yeah. It's
Right around there, maybe.
right around there.
So kind of trending up since he got to Arizona. He's over 2,500 yards in 3 years with a probably a 4.4 average and 31 touchdowns.
Ooh, we were coming in hot with this first one.
This is a close one. This is a close one.
It's
So-
close. It's a toss-up, but I'm going Connor.
Okay. So we got that. This one, our rivals, Bijan, I don't think there's any debate there.
yeah.
Top 10 pick, 22 years old, 1,000 yards last year. I think he had 500 receiving also.
He did end up with 1,000.
No, he was
Did
he
he?
was
Did
just
he just
shy. He was like 900 right around there.
I mean,
He
I'm
didn't
still
play
sup-
that game right at the end of
Yeah.
the season where he was sick.
I'm
So-
still surprised that he got there, considering how
They refused to
idiotic,
give him
how
the ball,
idiotically
yeah.
they used him.
He
but-
gave Algier the ball way too much.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, but I think you got to go
But-
Bijan.
What game was that? The last game of the season? Second to last game of the season? I just remember because of a fantasy perspective, he was supposed to start and he had the flu or something. They didn't.
No,
put
that was but that was
him- when was that?
shit.
Max is definitely the guy to ask about the fantasy perspective. Great pick. It still could be.
He still could be. He was a freaking. That kid's going to be. If they use
So here
him
you go.
right, it's
Here
going to
you
be the best running back in the league.
976, 4.6, and then he added 487 and 4 more touchdowns. He had eight total touchdowns. He had 272 touches. That's a decent amount of touches, but it'll be 300 from here on out, I think. But
This is a no-brainer. It's Bijan. Anyone who says they would take Kamara over Bijan is a liar and an idiot.
yeah, I agree.
Is that my cue to say, actually, I changed my
I was waiting for you to chime in and say, well, actually,
when you really think about it.
All right, we're gonna
Bijan.
blow past that. I don't think that's like Max said. Anyone who disagrees on that, it just doesn't watch the game. Carolina is Chuba Hubbard and Jonathan Brooks. Just drafted Jonathan Brooks. Also, Miles Sanders, Rashad Penny. They've got a whole.
Jesus, that's a stable.
It's a stable of average.
Brooks
could be.
has got a really, really good chance to be good. Okay, I'm taking Kamara over Chuba or Chuba, however the hell we say it, for sure. But I'll be honest with you, I think I would take Jonathan Brooks at this point over Kamara.
Remind me of Brooks's.
Texas.
He
He's
was
only
awesome.
20, I think, or he's just turned 21.
I'm not doing that. I'm going to jump in before Corey. We let Corey finish this. I'm not doing that for this season. If I had to choose one for the team, I'd probably do the same thing. Meaning, if we're projecting the future, because Brooks' upside's way bigger than getting really good production out of Alvin past maybe this year or next year.
Yeah.
But
this year, we'll see. I'm not gonna put him above AK yet.
Yeah, it's close. I mean, I'll. You know what? I'm taking AK over both of them.
Okay, he's switching. Corey.
I'm switching.
Yeah, I'm taking.
But if it just to clarify, if this were a 2, 3, 4 year down the road, I'm taking Brooks absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
I think you'd have to with a guy that age.
Yeah,
that kind of pedigree.
his talent is insane.
Yeah, but no, I'd take AK over.
Yeah,
either
over Hubbard
one.
for sure. Hubbard's awful.
I mean, I think the one who has the most like immediate, you're looking for a plug and play guy for one year is Miles Sanders. I mean, he's got.
He didn't really do much last year.
He's got the experience, and he's kind of
Who else has experience?
athletic
Jamal
enough.
Williams.
Yeah, Miles Sanders is more athletic than Jamal Williams.
Just a smidge.
Yeah,
I'm not taking any of those guys.
but I'm
over
not
AK.
taking. I'm still not taking him over.
You got to
AK.
take Kamara over
for
all.
2024. No
Yeah.
way. All right, we're all in agreement there. We go Chicago with DeAndre Swift, Roshan Johnson backing him up, Khalil Herbert. Is it Herbert?
Yeah.
Not a bad third.
No, that's a real good third. That's a good stable too.
Yeah, for me, I'll start this one. I'd probably take Swift over AK for this year.
Agree.
Yeah, I've always been a big fan of Swift. I mean, yeah, he's a Georgia guy, of course.
He's good,
but
man.
he's really good.
He's really good.
He's
Injuries are his only problem.
He's shifty.
It's
man.
crazy to. I mean, I was biased, obviously, because of his college, but I'm like, this dude's so fast and catches the ball well. He's shifty. I was surprised how like the attention that he did not get. Where like everyone was like, yeah, Eagles, they're not missing much by letting him. The Lions aren't missing much by letting him go. And I'm like,
They weren't. They upgraded.
Yeah,
if you're going to say Gibbs is better than Swift, whatever, okay, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But to say that move made sense is a reach, to me. Wasting a pick that high and giving.
I love the pick there, and I still love it.
You're giving Swift away for a 7th, right? It was a 7th, and then you're using a 1, and you upgraded marginally.
And you were in cornerback hell that year.
Yeah, but I'm fine with using a 1 on a running back because you're never going to – you get the 5 years out of them, and you just don't give them – because we're all in agreement you don't pay running backs, right? Like you've been preaching, to your credit, Nick.
I say both things. You don't use a 1 and you don't pay them. For me, they're both one and the same.
I'm fine with a 1 for 5 years of someone who's as dynamic as Gibbs. You guys know I was on the Gibbs is hype man.
Yeah,
I fucking love Gibbs. I think Gibbs is incredible.
This isn't about how awesome he is. This is about the move.
He produced, though.
You have a Swift. You have that for free.
Right.
You have it for free. You threw it away for nothing and used a 1.
What's Swift's contract now?
It's not huge. And I bet you it's not even much more than Gibbs. I'll look it up. But here's Swift last year, just for context. 4.6 a carry, 1,049 yards, 6 total touchdowns, another 39 catches, 214. With the Bears, okay? Another bad offense.
That wasn't with the Bears.
Oh,
last
sorry.
year. It was with the Eagles.
Eagles last year. You're right.
A great offense.
Bears this year.
Not a great offense.
It was not a great offense.
A running offense, though, where he's going to get running lanes.
This year Bears, right? Or am I
this
making
year
that
Bears,
up? Okay.
correct.
He signed with the Bears. Let me look up what he got. I don't know that off the top of my head. But I don't understand taking Gibbs and a 7th for Swift and a 1st.
We're going to disagree on it because I'm firmly okay with it. I love it. They made it to the NFC Championship game. If they wouldn't have blown it out of their ass, they would have been in the Super Bowl. Just that team, smart move.
3 for 24 on his new deal. And then what's Gibbs?
Probably 2 or 3 a year.
Nah, not that high. It's more than that. It's got to be.
Well, he's in the teens.
Yeah.
Not going to be a super high number.
4 for 18.
4 for 18, okay.
That's his rookie deal, right?
Yeah. I'm taking Gibbs for the 5 years, man.
Minus a 1.
Yeah.
He's
dynamic, man. That dude is dynamic as fuck.
I know you love offense, but like that's a really, when you've got a team who couldn't stop the Niners in a championship game to go to the Super Bowl, but you had an extra running back that didn't do anything.
I mean, we say they couldn't stop the Niners. The Niners were one of the best offenses in the league. It's not like they couldn't stop the fucking Panthers.
You needed probably one stop in that game to win that game. I'm just saying, your offense played great.
They needed DB help bad.
So for me as a GM,
I'm with Gibbs.
I love Gibbs the player. I got him in fantasy because Max chose Bijan. I love him. Great player. No way I'm doing that deal. No way. Not giving up a top 15 pick for a running back when I have DeAndre Swift in the building on his rookie deal still for that year, by the way, before you have to sign him. Just wouldn't have done it. But I do think
that's fine, though. But we've gotten away from the point of this whole thing.
Right.
I'm taking him.
I'm Team
I'm
Gibbs.
him
You're
over
Team
again.
Swift on that. But for our
The
purposes,
listeners are probably like, wait, are they talking? They're talking about
exactly.
Gibbs. Wasn't the prompt Kamara or Swift?
Exactly. So back to the original
Gibbs
point.
is coming.
I think we know the answer when we get to Gibbs.
And he's a backup. So
We've all said we all took Swift here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
everybody took Swift.
So-
This one's kind of a layup for me. Zeke starting in Dallas again. I don't think any of us are going to make a case for Zeke
That's
anymore.
crazy.
Yeah. No. Give me Kamara. Oh,
Yeah.
This one's interesting because we're two Gibbs right after the
Well,
conversation.
who's the backup in Dallas?
Rico Dowdell.
You marking
Jesus
it down?
Christ.
Dowdell. And then Deuce Vaughn, the short guy.
Yeah. No.
Deuce
Kamara.
Vaughn's probably their best running back out of those.
So this is interesting because Gibbs, Max clearly has him above AK. The question is, do you have Montgomery? Do they have two running backs you have
Over
above
AK?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You kind of have to.
Yeah. And I go back to what 4 years ago.
He's your third.
4 years ago when we went to your fantasy football draft at Reds.
Kamara.
We're not picking. I'm just writing down who you pick above compare. You only have three.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, so I go back to, I think it was 4 years ago when I went with you to your fantasy football draft at Reds, and you were asking about Montgomery. I'm like, Montgomery's good. I'm like, I think he's going to be a really good rookie, and he kind of floundered. You know, he had like 3.9 a carry, I want to say, his rookie year for Chicago. It just wasn't the player I thought he was going to be. He gets to Detroit, And all of a sudden, he's the player I thought he was going to be. Obviously, a lot of that's Ben Johnson, his offensive scheme, and just the way everyone's deployed. But I think right now, Montgomery, in that offense, absolutely. You got to take him over Kamara. Gibbs, no-brainer.
Yeah, Gibbs a no-brainer. I think we all agree with that. Montgomery, for what Max was referencing with the Bears, 889, 1070, 849, 801. Then went to Detroit and had 1,000 with 13 touchdowns. But he's got 43 touchdowns in 5 years. He's not that young. He's 2 years younger than AK.
What's his receiving?
You got to take him over.
What's his receiving stats?
They were quite good until they got Gibbs, and Gibbs took those away. He had in Chicago 25 in his rookie year. Then he had 54, 42, 34, decent numbers.
Yeah.
16 last year. So he's not catching the ball. And why would you if you have Gibbs?
Yeah, you have Gibbs. He's basically a wide receiver at that point.
So that's a tough one.
Gibbs is a no-brainer. Montgomery's a tougher one.
Yeah, I'm leaning. I'd go AK over Montgomery.
Okay.
But not Gibbs.
Yeah, that's a tough. And
It's close. It's close.
And there's a fair point to be made. We signed the guy who was Montgomery, and he did nothing. So
right.
What does it mean? Is it Ben Johnson? Not that he was bad the year before in Chicago. He wasn't. He was 801 and 4 yards a carry, 7 total touchdowns. Not terrible.
The lesson here is Ben
Montgomery
Johnson.
reminds me of when you need a runner to just be a north-south with a little bit of shift and some speed.
He's got some wiggle.
Yeah,
I like him all right. I'll take AK just for 24. I think just more versatile.
You know what? I'm going to flip. Okay, I think Gibbs takes the primary spot this year in Detroit. So I'm looking at Montgomery as the second guy now, the 1B. Mm-hmm. So I'll take Kamara over Montgomery, but I'm taking Gibbs over.
Yeah.
Everybody's got Gibbs. Okay,
Yeah.
So everybody went yes on Gibbs, no on Montgomery.
Yeah.
Correct?
Correct.
Okay.
The
Next
lesson
up,
here is that Ben Johnson is the fucking man.
Green Bay.
Yeah. I hope we're saying that about Kubiak after this year. That he makes us forget about old Ben.
Green Bay, I think
We'll
this
see.
is an easy one too. Josh Jacobs, you've got to take over AK.
Absolutely.
Right now. We'll just A.J. Dillon's the backup.
I'll take Kamara over Dillon, but I'm taking Josh Jacobs.
You're not taking AK over Josh Jacobs today, are you?
Today?
For 24.
No, I'm not. No, I'm taking AK. I wouldn't take Dillon over AK. I like
Another-
Everybody
Dillon,
would. Yeah.
but yeah.
No,
Another
that's the
one,
guy you wanted to move to fullback, remember?
Yeah, hell yeah, still do.
I'm sure that's a ringing endorsement from your perspective.
Make a
though.
trade.
Next, we got Kyron Williams from the Rams, who had a great rookie year.
Yeah.
Really good rookie year.
Yeah, he came on strong, especially the second half of the year. I think it was second half of the year.
You got 1,000. You got to take him.
He had 1,100, 5 a carry, 12 touchdowns.
Yeah,
He turned into a damn good runner.
Give me Williams.
And that was his second year or rookie year?
Second year, I
Second
think.
year, yep.
Give me Williams.
Yep, I think you have to. 23 years
You
old.
have to. There's no.
Breakout season, 12 touchdowns.
I'm
5
looking
a
at
carry.
Corey and like the fucking mouse is on the wheel. Like
This one's a tough one for me.
how? You had somebody that put up more production in his first year as a starter than AK has ever as a runner, and he's what 23,
And he can catch the ball.
and he can catch the ball. There's no brainer. For
What you think?
2024, it's a no-brainer.
Where's your head at, Corey? Tell us. Think out loud.
I don't know if we want
So hard to do. I just think of AK's potential in Kubiak's offense, his polish, he still has those trademark AK traits of like balance, strength, catching ability, all that stuff. But he's
One more
definitely
caveat.
he's lost a step on like hitting the corner, all that stuff.
Kyron Williams' stats are in 12 games.
Jesus.
It's a no-brainer.
So he averaged
Yeah.
over 100 yards from scrimmage a game and went for 15 touchdowns in 12 games.
Yeah, no, give me Kyrie.
He was trying, man. Look at him.
Yeah, it just wasn't a no-brainer. I was leaning towards Kyron the whole time, making sure.
This is why we need
in
video.
my head.
This is why we need the video set up for the audience to see
Hey.
the look on your face. Dude,
I know,
just,
I
the
don't-
mouse was on the wheel.
I don't have
the
a
hamster
po-
was on the wheel. Just fucking.
I know. I at least in this environment, I don't have a poker face. I have to like really try hard, like when I'm in court for my job, just to make sure I'm keeping a poker face. Especially when the judges make like insane rulings.
Yeah, you had
I
no
have to,
poker
like,
face at all right now because I'm looking at you just like I know what
I've-
he's trying to do.
Like when it's been my job on the line, like I'm in court and I can't get held in contempt or something. I've literally covered my face before because I like to act like I'm.
Look, this is difficult acknowledging where we're at with AK because we love him.
Yep.
So this is hard.
That was
Top
a
5
big
favorite Saint ever.
That was a big part of why I hesitate so much for guys like Kyron Williams. It's like we didn't even know who this guy was 2 years ago.
We did.
3 years ago.
Notre Dame, man.
Let me tell you something. It's not going to get a lot better.
I know. I know.
Right.
Minnesota, Aaron Jones. Same age, same draft class. For me, it's a no-brainer. I think
Aaron Jones.
I think Aaron Jones looks way fresher than AK and is a very similar player.
I agree.
Yep. I'm
Everybody's in agreement. Okay.
Yep.
Then
Who's
we-
their backup? Just nobody, right? Is he still Madison?
No, it's
Madison's
Chandler.
in Raiders.
Ty Chandler, the guy who came in
Jesus
last year.
Christ.
Yeah.
Okay, I take AK over him.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though Chandler was on my
I like looking at the top 2 guys though, and just kind of
picked up Chandler on my fantasy roster because I was down to like nothing of running backs.
So Aaron Jones across the board.
Yeah.
Next is us, which is AK. Nobody on our team we think is better than AK yet. Giants, Devin Singletary.
Nah, AK for me.
That's a no for me too. I'm sticking with AK.
I'm taking AK.
All right. Then I think another no-brainer, Saquon.
AK
Any
for sure.
protest
Right?
there?
Is that what you mean by no-brainer?
Yeah, for sure. AK all day.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take Saquon.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
give me Saquon.
Saquon.
Well, who's the backup in New York? We kind of glossed
Gainwell. In New York or Philly?
over that. Giants.
Giants. Eric Gray.
That's the Tennessee running back. Okay.
But
Kamara
we're going-
over him, obviously. And then who was the backup in Philly?
Gainwell still.
Kamara
Well,
over him.
he was one of the backups. He's
Kamara
still,
over him.
Yeah.
So what?
But
wait,
Saquon over.
We just did Philly.
we
Philly,
just did
which
the
is
Giants
Saquon.
and,
Yeah, okay.
and the
Right.
Philly
Okay,
back
I was-
to back.
Yeah.
This one for me is another no-brainer. Seattle. Kenneth Walker. Anybody protest?
No, Kenneth Walker all day.
Yeah.
Okay. CMC. Anybody want to make this?
Give me the
argument?
backup though in Seattle. Just for the purposes. I just want to-
Charbonnet. He did.
You're
not
You're
taking
taking Kamara over him, but
But
Charbonnet's-
you have to give it a shake though. Yeah.
He was.
you got to give it a shake. Yeah,
He
yeah.
was hyped pretty good, but he didn't do much last year.
right.
He's one of those that's going to pop up in like 2 years.
The
randomly and get a
Seahawks,
contract with somebody.
Seahawks also had one of those like frustratingly stagnant offenses where like you thought they could do a lot more than they did. They weren't terrible, but like
Yeah.
they had talent that made you think they should be more explosive, but they weren't.
Who's up next?
CMC. We all agree, obviously.
What do we agree on?
Rashad White. We're not even dignifying.
Well,
I mean-
who's the backup in the 49ers?
Look, guys, until a couple years ago, AK and CMC had the same stats. All right.
Yeah, well.
It's still actually very close,
still
but
close,
it's not
but-
going to end up close. I can tell you that.
all right, so
Nah.
obviously everyone takes CMC. Who's the backup
we'll
there?
take CMC.
Still Elijah
Mostert?
Mitchell. No, Mostert's
Okay, so
in
Kamara,
Miami.
Miami, that's right.
Okay, so CMC and Kamara over the other ones.
Rashad White in Tampa. I don't think you're.
I'd go Kamara.
I'm not. I'll go White. What do you think?
God, that one's tough.
It is tough, but
Y'all
For
want,
2024, give me Rashad White.
stats, Corey? You need help stats wise?
yeah.
It was over 1,000.
I think
Give
it's
me the-
close.
give me the
I think it's
stats,
close.
so
It's close,
so-
man. It's close.
Yeah, make me sound.
I think they're probably similar. To
make
be
sure
honest
we
with you. Let's
sound.
see.
Make sure I sound dumb before we move
Okay.
on. Yes.
He didn't get to 1,000. He got to 990. Only 3.6,
No, give me Kamara.
How many fumbles did he have?
but 64 receptions for 550. 9 total touchdowns. So he outproduced them for sure. Because Kamara was 3.6 also, right? What was he?
3-9, I think.
3.9 this year.
For 2024, I'm taking Kamara.
I'm gonna go White. He had 1,500 yards and 9 touchdowns. I'm gonna go with White, and he's younger. Max
just-
is Max.
How
is
many?
now-
I think a lot of those are garbage stats. To be honest.
I just think Kamara's a better player.
Yeah. That. Yeah.
This year in 2024.
Today?
Mostly
All right.
that.
So both of y'all AK. Got it. All right.
Yeah. Did you?
He
I'm
took
I'm
White.
looking at your list. Did you put me down for White before I even said
I
it?
put everybody down. I thought y'all were both gonna
Jesus.
say. To me, that one's not. That one's pretty obvious.
It's close.
Yeah.
This one, it'd be funny to do a game show with this guy because I think it's going to look exactly the same.
Oh.
Austin Eckler in Washington. They also have Brian
Ooh.
Robinson.
Yeah. Eckler is a good.
They're basically at the same exact point in their career, I think.
But Eckler, if you want to, kind of like you said with Aaron Jones, that Jones would look fresher, as you put it, than AK. I mean, I think you could make that argument with Eckler, even though he
Last
seems
year,
older. But
I think they're the same age.
They're about the same age. This one's tough.
I mean, like older in terms of like on the spectrum of running backs.
Okay, here's stats. I think this is going to
Eckler's
shock
stats
Corey.
are definitely going to be better than AK's.
Not so much. No, not last year.
Really?
Dude. He didn't do much last year.
Maybe I'm thinking of him the year before.
You're thinking the year before.
Last year, 628, 3.5, 5 touchdowns, 51 receptions, 436. The stats.
This is all with the Chargers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he play every game?
No, he was hurt.
No, he got hurt some.
I'm
But
taking AK.
he played 14 games.
Yeah, I'm taking AK.
Yeah, AK.
But the years before that, just for context,
See, with Eckler still has, like, if you're going to say who's, like, if Madden had like they have speed rating and strength and all that, if they had a gimmick rating, I think, like, his gimmick rating is higher than AK's. Like, Eckler does more outside of the box and different exotic looks than, like, AK.
they're the same draft class.
If you open up
too.
a running lane for AK, he can still get you the 4 yards, where, like, Eckler
Didn't look good last year.
Yeah, that's
He
what I'm
did.
saying. I'm not as
He looked like he fell off a cliff.
Yeah.
I'm taking AK. Because AK didn't look like he fell off a cliff. He just looked like he was surrounded by trash
Right.
with a shitty offense.
That's what it was, yeah. So, yeah, I'm AK on this one.
AK.
It's a close one.
It's close, though. AK.
It is, yeah.
What's AK's career touchdowns? We just talked about it? Because I just looked.
78 or 79.
And look,
Eckler
hey-
has 69 career touchdowns.
And good on you for
That's crazy.
not, for going away from your fellow bald guy on this one. Impressive. I thought you might have been a little bit biased.
Well, you're in the same boat.
No, I don't do the I don't shave it yet,
Yet.
So 16 NFC teams. That's the end of the NFC.
I don't even know what it would look like.
Corey, you ranked him. You ranked him 10th in the NFC
Okay.
as starters.
Interesting.
What did I have?
Max ranked him 11th, and I ranked him 12th.
Wow, look at that.
Okay.
So
In the NFC.
in the NFC, he's not in the top 10.
So
He
six-
barely makes Corey's top 10. So
Damn.
we got 10th. Max was 11th.
Corey's going to err more to picking Kamara. He always will.
But I mean, that's pretty telling, though, that someone who even is partial and erring towards wanting to pick my guy he's still coming in 10th in a conference.
Let's roll on to the AFC.
All right, we're starting it out with a layup. Derrick Henry. That's an easy one.
I'm going to stop making the jokes. Yeah, it's Henry.
You're just going to have to make them too often if you're going to stick
Right.
with it. That's the problem.
Well, we'll pick AK over him.
Here's one. James Cook.
Well, time out. Who was the backup in Baltimore?
Justice Hill. You're not doing that.
Okay. King Henry, obviously, yes. All right. James Cook.
Interesting one.
Give me James Cook. Big fan.
Max loves him. He loves all things from the Cook family.
He's another
Look.
another Georgia running back that I'm a big fan of. And
I was on Dalvin Cook
Yeah.
before anybody.
I gotta go James. I told you about James when he was in Georgia.
I mean,
Dalvin Cook's brother just got recruited by us. Look out.
I think you watch that playoff game and them never give him the ball when they had all year. It was kind of strange.
When they finally
He had 1,100 yards and 440 receiving, 4.7 and 10.1 averages.
When the Bills finally woke up and started feeding him, I was like, what did you think was going to happen? Like, this is
his skill set.
all you had to do was give him the ball.
His skill set is similar to Jahmyr Gibbs in that they are both just so adept at they could play wide receiver, either one of them.
I mean,
Now, he doesn't have the explosiveness that Gibbs does. Gibbs is on a different level. But
Yeah.
Cook is explosive. Don't get me wrong.
I mean,
Cook is explosive.
Cook
but
is like a more slender young Kamara. He really is.
He really is. Kamara was his comp
Right.
coming out. I mean,
Right.
that's, same player.
He had to. If you look at his
He doesn't have a lot of mileage on him
his
either.
first year Georgia highlights, the dude was so skinny. Like, you were just like,
he was like 185 pounds.
yeah. So he's had to really bulk up, but
He's still probably
he's still skinny for an NFL running back for
202,
sure.
something like that.
Maybe not even.
Either way, I'm taking him.
Yeah.
No question. Who was the backup there?
With them, Ray Davis, Ty Johnson, Frank Gore Jr.
Frank Gore
Frank
Jr.,
Gore.
baby.
Let's go.
Oh,
Love
yeah,
it.
let's go.
You want to root for him.
Yeah, you do. Put him at quarterback like you did.
All right, so we
If
all
he's
go
anything like his
Cook.
dad, he'll be playing when we're dead.
This one I feel
Wait, what team?
going Bengals, Zach Moss, who had a really good year, sneaky. Even though he wasn't the starter, he got a
Yeah.
ton of run with the Colts.
He was just like a solid,
I'm taking Kamara.
but I'd still. This is actually a close one for me,
It's
but
close.
I'd still go Kamara.
I go Kamara.
I think I got Kamara
He's
too.
their lead dude now.
Yeah.
I guess since
well, they signed him to be the lead. They
Mixon's
let
out.
Mixon go. But where do you think his stats shook out last year? He wasn't the starter for half the year.
Like 800 yards, right?
800, 4.3, plus another 27 catches, 192.
Oh,
He
he's
had.
solid.
You know, it's just a shame that
I'm just saying you got to
Yeah, for sure. How old is he?
uptrend 26.
I can't
Yeah,
think of the
not
Bengals
super
backfield
young.
without thinking of my all-time like fantasy
Icky
sleeper,
Woods, yeah, for sure.
Giovanni Bernard.
Oh, Jesus.
That-
He stayed a sleeper his whole career, though, Corey. That's the problem.
but he showed up right when I needed him in certain situations. It was hilarious.
This one's a close one, but I'm taking Kamara.
I think I'm going to, too, just for this year. But he looked really good in Indy when Taylor wasn't playing last year. So this one could be.
We're still on Moss. Yeah, I'm going AK.
All right, Corey's favorite, Nick Chubb.
You know where I'm going with this.
Well, let me ask this: the knee injury or the leg injury? What's the prognosis? I know you're plugged in. What we got?
I'm plugged into Nick Chubb being a beast. So
No, without question,
So whatever injury he's got, he's going to get over it.
How old is he now?
He's
Same draft class, too, right? Or
probably-
next draft class.
He's probably literally
after it.
doing squats
After.
as we speak, just to strengthen every muscle around his knee. So
No,
it's
he's
like not
probably.
a factor.
What's that badass picture of him? Like they're
Oh,
on the
with the-
track and he's jumped up.
Oh,
and
Jesus,
His feet
yeah.
are like right at the other people's shoulders. He's
That
probably
was
doing
crazy.
that right
He's
now.
doing
He
like
was
his,
the following year.
Yeah, that's what it
his
is.
a
track
year
is
younger.
100-meter dash warm-up.
As much as I hate to agree with Corey, yeah, I think Chubb is somewhere right now doing squats with
He's
like
a
a car
freak.
on his shoulder.
He's a year removed from 1,500 yards and 12 times.
Look,
There's
give
no
me-
way you
give me
can
Chubb.
take it.
Yeah.
The luck on Chubb, like Chubb,
I just
at some
the
point
injury was the one thing I was.
it's look, it's still an ACL and it was the back.
It's an
one,
ACL?
and yeah.
Okay,
And,
no, then he's fine.
yeah.
This isn't 1989. He'll be
But
fine.
It was
was
ACL,
was this
meniscus,
year the
and I
one
think-
where it was?
I thought it was really bad, right?
It looked. They ended up saying it was just an ACL, but I think it was ACL.
it was a
with
few
meniscus.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is no layup. He's coming back.
This is
Right,
the one
that's-
where it went backwards, right?
Yeah. Remember, he went in the hole. He was down by the goal line. His knee went backwards. Oh, it was gross.
And that's the second time that happened to not the same knee, but that happened
Just for the fact
in college.
just for the fact that he is a mutant,
That's what I mean. Like
I'm
think
taking
yeah.
Chubb.
It's probably the only reason his knee is still possible to come back is how crazy his legs were.
Right.
Because the way he got hit was nasty.
His physical ability is just off the charts.
Yeah.
It doesn't. He's a fucking mutant. I'm taking him.
Yeah.
If anyone comes back from that with no problems, it's him.
I think if you're forced to pick between those two things, the upside on Chubb is so much greater that
God,
you have
yeah.
to take it. Javonte Williams, Denver, old Sean Payton.
This one's tough.
This is one where let me guess, were his stats actually better than expected?
What's your expected? I'm going to tell you.
I love
like,
him as a
no.
running back. because
Cracked
he-
1,000.
He's mean
No,
as fuck.
I don't think he did.
He looks for contact. He's a badass. I love him. I'm torn on this one though.
He
'Cause
can
he's
catch
not-
a little too. It's not his forte, but he caught 47 balls.
Give me
last
some
year.
stats. What do you have, Russian?
774, 3.6 yard average. 47 for 228, 4.9.
They were another offense that was looking at stacked fronts because Russell did so bad.
Give me Kamara.
I have to take Kamara, I think.
Who's the backup? Oh, it's my guy, Jaleel McLaughlin. Yeah,
Sure.
whatever. I can't even say it. Fuck.
You just got
Well,
really excited
they-
about that.
Well, he's on my fantasy team.
P. Ryan is their third down back.
He might be the best running back out of
McLaughlin
the
is,
three.
He's tough as shit. Dude.
Yeah.
Small little guy. He's tough.
I'll
He'll be
tell-
on the team as long as Peyton's there because Peyton.
He loves that type of player.
He's
Yeah.
that Traveris cadet. Tommy Lee.
He's like a
Lewis type of.
Sproles mixed with Cadet.
Yeah,
Like, you
like
know.
not as dynamic as Sproles because
Right.
let's be honest,
Nobody-
nobody was.
yeah.
But he's in that same profile.
All right, I'm saying no on Javonte, though.
Same.
We all said no. Yeah.
Okay.
Mixon.
That's a tough one.
See, I think he's either on the same. But I put him in the Eckler Kamara as far as where they're at in their career, or maybe he's just 1 year behind them. But he looked slow last year to me.
Yeah.
He hasn't
And-
looked good in like 2 years to me.
Yeah,
I don't care what his stats are, like the eye test.
I don't think they were great.
I just think Kamara can still do more than him.
Give me Kamara.
The difference is, I believe, same draft class. He's 2 years younger. He did have 1,000. He scraped it out. 1,034, 4 yards, 9 touchdowns.
He had 4 yards of carry.
This one's tough.
That's surprising. I'm gonna go AK.
I'm going AK.
I'm gonna go Mixon. I think just because he's 2 years younger. I think he's a year.
Yeah,
or
but
two.
you're only looking at 2024.
Right.
So AK is still 28. It'll be 29.
Well, that's
for
what
the
I'm saying.
season,
I think
so-
less likely the fall off is this year for Mixon as it could be for AK.
Yeah, but AK didn't have the touches, the mileage on his body that Mixon does. Mixon's been a workhorse
Yeah.
pretty much every year he's played.
The A's
Even in Oklahoma, Kamara's never been a workhorse.
So Kamara has, they draft same year, Kamara has 1,315 versus 1,570 rushes
Right, and then look at college too. Because Mixon was a workhorse at Oklahoma.
for a year, right? It was just one big year.
I don't know.
Because he transferred, sat out a year, played, then he was a frontline starter that last year, got in trouble, fell in the draft.
I know he's 2 years younger, but I feel like the mileage is comparable. So I'm going Kamara because he's a more dynamic player. I think.
Yeah, I think just point blank, Kamara can still.
I think there's a case to
still
be made
do
for
more.
more.
There's a case for both, and it's a tough one.
I can't argue.
The toughest
either way.
one is still the first one we did, which is just fucking the James Conner. It's crazy how we started off with that one. But I'll go Kamara.
This is a quick one. Jonathan Taylor, I think, is across the board.
I don't know. Maybe I'll take
I
Taylor.
think this one's a layup, but I'll ask anyway. Etienne.
We know what Max going with.
Etienne, baby. My guy.
You're not going to go against that, are you?
No.
Come on. Etienne will take it to the house.
Did he have ball security issues last year?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Wasn't it a problem?
So did
motherfucker
AK.
here,
So did
dude.
AK last year. Didn't he fumble 3 last year?
trying to find a way.
The guy that just rips off long runs. Did he have ball control issues?
Yeah,
AK never fumbled. He fumbled last year.
that's true. That is true. I don't know. ATM just run. He's got that weird running motion.
Yeah, but that's his strength. There's a whole article about it. I sent it to Nick
turns
about
the
it.
corner.
No, yeah, because it's fucking, he's,
Duck feet.
duck-footed.
Yeah.
So when he turns the corner, he turns it at fucking top speed with no problem. It's incredible.
This
That
is a
dude
good
is-
one.
Look, you know this, because I texted you that first night I saw him as a freshman playing for Clemson. I'm like, this fucker's different.
He's a Louisiana kid. We all knew who he was.
Oh, my
From Jennings,
God.
where Lizzie's family's from.
Dude, that speed,
And his brother just transferred to Georgia.
his brother doesn't have shit on him.
Well, yeah, he's in college.
He doesn't have shit on him as a college player.
We're all in agreement. Etienne.
Yeah, I'll take Etienne.
This one's, I think, an interesting one. Pacheco.
Oh, Pacheco. Give me Pacheco. I like that little angry fucker.
Yeah,
way he
you talk
runs
about a guy
cracks me
who
up,
runs angry.
I love watching him run, but is he? He's not a receiver, not a great one. He had some really great catches in the playoffs that really mattered.
He
but
can catch.
He's a tone setter.
Yeah.
Because those the high knee, who ran like that? It was Ricky Waters did that shit with like the high pumping knee motion.
I hate how many people I'm wanting to take over AK.
That's the
See,
whole point of this.
he had 44 catches, but only 5 a catch. But he had 904.6, which is really good. 9 total touchdowns. So you probably have to take him, right? He's only 25.
Yeah, I'm taking
I'm
him.
taking him.
God.
Tone setters, like the people that run like that are tone setters, and you need that. I love it.
I only gave 20 spots thinking I wouldn't get past there, and I'm definitely going past 20. All right.
Damn.
Chargers, Dobbins and Gus Edwards.
No.
I'm going to say,
AK.
yeah, you got to go AK because they have even worse injury.
If Dobbins just had a fraction of the knee injuries he's had, I'd take him. But yeah.
This one's an interesting one because you're sort of guessing. Zamir White.
AK.
That was in unison. Kid.
He's a Georgia boy too.
Another Georgia running back, RB1, right? But
I think
no.
he breaks out like crazy this year, though.
He was
I
the
really
closest running back. He had the most like Chubb similarities.
Oh, he's a
but
5-star. He should.
and he's huge.
He's a big guy.
He's a really good runner.
He's a poor
Can
man's
catch,
Chubb. He's a poor man's
but
Chubb.
yeah. But right now,
To be fair, you can't say he's proved anything.
He hasn't.
because he's been the backup.
It's all projection.
Yeah.
He might as well be a rookie.
Last year, 100 carries, 451, 4.3. That's what he had. And then he had an additional 15 catches.
There's more rookies that we haven't mentioned. I feel like we've only touched on like 2 or 3 of them.
This wasn't a great rookie run.
No, it wasn't. There was no
Benson.
frontline superstar like the year before.
Benson.
When you had Gibbs and
Brooks.
Bijan. But you got a bunch of like
potential home run hitters.
potential
Well, I think we mentioned the 2 you might consider taking over AK right now.
Benson.
Trey Benson and
Brooks.
Brooks.
And Brooks, right.
There's another one though. I'm forgetting right now.
Corum. You're talking about Corum. Blake Corum.
Yeah, that's not the one. I'm
And he
thinking
went
of,
to the
though.
Rams, which is a
Yeah,
good
Kyron Williams is ahead of him. So
Okay, so we're all saying no on White, and but I think at the end of the year he probably
No, you're right.
You'll be looking back.
There's a world where White.
He could very
breaks out.
easily have more rushing yards than AK.
This is the first. Do we have any where we took both?
He absolutely
running
should
backs?
have more rushing yards than AK.
Yeah.
To your point, Corey, he was a 5-star recruit.
Yeah.
I'm still talking about White. The talent is there, and to Nick's point, he absolutely could break out and have 1,400 yards this year.
Yeah.
But we just haven't seen any of it. So.
Yep.
This, I think, will be the first team. It's the second team we're considering taking 2 running backs. Mostert and A-Chain. And I think the only way you can make a case not to take it is Mostert's age. That's the only reason. Because the production last year it's not close.
Yeah, and that's
both of their seasons were epic seasons.
I'm taking A-Chain, and anyone that's not taking A-Chain's crazy, because anyone who averages damn near 10 yards a carry, it's ridiculous.
He's such a threat.
So for him, 103 for 800, 7.8, 8 touchdowns, and 27 receptions. For a season. That's for a season.
That's ridiculous.
You're right. This is one where we need a video because
the look on your face right now was,
I couldn't.
We need video for that.
And Mostert, 209 for 1,012, 4.8, 18 touchdowns, and 25 receptions. Fuck. If you're going on production, this is not a debate.
Okay, so I'm taking A-Chain without question over AK. Now, my thing with Mostert, it's the same thing with Jamal Williams coming off the Lions season where he led the NFL in rushing touchdowns.
I hear you, but he was explosive.
No, and that's the thing. He's always that was what was he, like a 6th or 7th round pick out of Purdue, fast as fuck. Didn't have any real college production, but fast as hell. And that's why he's lasted as long as, what is he, 33?
32 only. I was
Oh, he's
surprised.
only 32, okay. Okay, give me Mostert.
But he's put in a position with that offense to.
Also, half the
That offense is insane.
Yeah.
half the carries of AK in his career. Half. Even though he's 32.
Mostert and A-Chain.
I
Both.
hate this.
5.2. 5.2 a carry on his career, 8 yards a catch on his career, 40 touchdowns.
Yeah, give me both.
Both.
That's hard.
Damn it.
God,
Guess
it'd be
what?
fun to be a
Combined,
Dolphins
they
fan.
make less than half than AK, too.
I know, huh? What was A-Chain, 3rd round pick? Yeah, Jesus Christ. So fast. Like, that dude is the definition of explosive.
And it's right away. It's
Right
not
away.
like-
Just gone. Give him
All
a
right,
crease,
here's
gone.
AK's got a chance. He just got a huge contract, but I'm going to take AK anyway. Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah, I'm taking AK all day.
AK.
I was shocked at that contract.
That contract
I
is,
could not believe that when I heard the news.
they're a mess.
I mean,
is why.
he's good. He's big. He's strong. But I'm like, good Lord.
Did
they give him $8 million a year?
He's good. He's good. That's it.
They
He's
made him a
not great.
top 8.
I don't
P.
understand that contract.
That's
But that's what I'm saying. That
Didn't they draft? They drafted someone decent, right? Who's the backup?
Braylon Allen? No, sorry, that's Jets. No. Kevin Harris, Antonio Gibson, Jermichael Hasty.
Antonio Gibson.
No.
I mean, I'm not picking AK. I'm not picking him over AK. I'm just saying that's a decent, could pop up and do something.
Okay, this one I think is an absolute no-brainer. Brees Hall. Everybody.
Oh, yeah,
go with
obviously
that.
Brees Hall.
Yep.
And Braylon Allen, that's the other rookie I was thinking of.
Okay.
But you can't take it yet.
No,
he
no.
won't even play this year. So, Najee and Jalen Warren.
Okay, Jalen Warren, I'm taking over AK. I'm taking AK over Najee. Najee fucking sucks. I watched that dude.
He's falling off.
He was. It's embarrassing that they keep giving him the majority of the carries when Warren is way better than him.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the year, they started splitting it evenly.
What were Warren's stats even as a
They were good.
Number 2?
I actually
yeah.
played him a lot. I'll tell you. They were, I think, more even yardage than
because he's
than
one
Najee.
where I didn't really watch them or a lot of their highlights, but he would be like the meme of like, I'm sorry, sir, I was not familiar with your game.
149,
For me.
784, 4 touchdowns, 61 catches.
Yeah, I've had him since he was a rookie on my fantasy team. I actually
Yeah.
traded him for some draft capital, but he is so much better than Najee Harris. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
Like, I watched entirely too many Steelers games this year just from betting, and I would bet on Warren to hit, the certain numbers, and it was infuriating
always-
watching Najee Harris get the majority of the carries when he runs right into the line and falls down.
I had
You want to hear
Najee.
something funny? It was
on my-
Najee's best year.
Right, he's not good.
Crazy.
No, it's his best year, though.
Yeah, but he's not good.
You would not have thought that from watching him.
No, I agree. I thought it would have been down. But first time over 4 yards a carry, 4.1, 1,035, 8 touchdowns, 29 receptions.
That makes 0 sense.
I'm taking Kamara over him.
I'm taking Kamara over Najee.
I'm taking Warren over Kamara, though.
It sounds like I should take Kamara over Warren. I just don't.
I'm not going
have
to
enough
either.
familiarity with
I'm
Warren.
with Corey on this. I love Warren, but sometimes these numbers happen because they're not the number one. Meaning,
That's fair. Look, I watched too many Steelers games this year.
I like him a lot.
Warren passes the eye test on everything.
we talked about him a bunch because of fantasy. You and I talked. I had him in 2 other leagues, and like he was still getting his numbers even though he wasn't getting touches.
Yeah. Every time he touched the ball, he produced.
He had like 1,200 yards as a backup.
Yeah.
So
That's why it's
but
pretty tough. But
again, if we're talking lead back, he's not a lead back. I think I'd have to see him do it with AK level touches. But that's another really tight one.
It's tough. It's tough.
Then you got Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears in Tennessee.
Kamara.
yeah,
Kamara
I mean
over
Pollard's close, but
He's a niche running back. They tried to make him a
Yeah,
feature, and he failed
He
miserably.
was so great. To Nick's point previously about Warren,
yeah,
Pollard
This is a
was
perfect
amazing
example.
as
Pollard's
a
a
1B.
perfect, like,
He's a
third-
perfect 1B.
yeah.
I'm taking Kamara over both.
yeah, same.
I think I am too.
It can be Kamara.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what Tony Pollard's stats were as a starter. Hold on, I'll give them to you. He fell off huge. So on his career, he was over 5 a carry. He had 4.0 a carry as a starter, 1,005 yards, 4.0. So drop from a 5 guy to a 4 guy. That's what I mean when you
With
become,
Warren, yeah.
Right. So you can make a case
It's
to take him
split.
over
I
AK,
mean, like,
but I'm not going to.
Some backups flourish when they get the lead role. Some backups
I'm taking
This
AK
is
over
good.
both.
So with
show you they should be a backup.
as the backup with 193 carries, had 2 more yards, 5.2 a carry instead of 4, 9 touchdowns instead of 6. He became the starter and his numbers cratered.
Yeah, but here's the difference, though. So I know we're talking Pollard versus Warren. Pollard is like 190 pounds. Warren's like 220.
I
He's
know.
a stocky motherfucker.
Yeah.
He's built for it. Pollard was not built for it.
This says
never was.
Pollard's 209, but
Okay, so that's fine. But he's a slim 209. If you look at Warren, how tall is Pollard? 5'11"?
6.
Oh, he's 6 feet. So 6
That's
feet,
why he looks
209.
slimmer. Yeah.
That's why he looks slimmer. Warren, I think, is 5'9".
He's short.
220.
He looks short anyway.
What is it, 5'9", 220?
He's 216.
216? Jesus. On 5'9", though.
Yeah, he's short. He looks
He's
stocky.
stocky,
That's
dude. Stout. He's built to be a lead.
5'8", 5'8", 215.
5'8"?
5'8", 215. He's a bold.
Okay,
No
I
one-
I stand by what I said.
No one's getting lower than him.
Yeah.
That's
Travis
it.
Henry shit right
So,
there.
For let's see where
That's
we
all
shake
of
out. NFL. That's everybody. Corey, you did not take Warren, correct?
Correct.
You have him 19th in the NFL as a running back starter. Max, you have him 21 in the NFL. So he fared okay against the AFC, actually.
Yeah, he did.
was
He
about to
did
say,
way better
yeah.
against the AFC.
And I had him 22nd.
All right, so all around the same range.
I'm the only one who's top 20.
We knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I did
but-
too.
So we have him where we have Carr, honestly. I guess the difference being he's on the higher end scale of being paid.
Well,
as a
he's
running
what, the
back.
third highest paid
I
running
think
back?
he's
Second or
still
third?
second.
No, I think he's
The 11
second, right?
is-
Shit.
He makes more
Yeah.
than Saquon made this year, and
then
CMC is the only one ahead of him. I
He
believe.
should be ahead
What
of him.
Derrick Henry get?
He didn't get a crazy deal.
The 11 is higher than Saquon's new deal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did they-
Saquon's
did
deal's
they-
not big, bro.
Did they backload Saquon's deal?
No, it's just
Jesus.
running backs.
It's like 10 a year, I think, right? What was it?
This is why Kamara's fighting so hard to see the end of that contract.
Well,
No, okay, so he's 12 and change for Saquon per year average.
Per year average.
11 sign-in bonus, only 26 guaranteed, so only 8 a year guaranteed.
yeah. And I was thinking more
Think about that
when we were
second.
talking about Kamara's figures. We didn't really distinguish between guaranteed and non-guaranteed because Kamara wants that guaranteed money. Like that's what he's after. So like the per year average could be.
Well, this year
one
is
thing.
guaranteed. And what is it? I think he's second in the league for 2024.
In guaranteed,
In
yeah.
guaranteed
yeah.
money.
Yeah.
It's
so that's
12 something,
2025 obviously is not guaranteed, so they can just drop him.
right. So that's
But-
what I'm saying. Like whatever he's going to want.
Well, but we're
And
not.
the way we rank these running backs is based on guaranteed. I think should be.
Yeah, but at the same point, we're talking about 2024, and right now Kamara is second in 2024 dollars.
No,
so
yeah. And it's all guaranteed.
2024 cap hit $18 million. 2024 cash $11.8 million. Slightly above. Well, no, that was a sign of slightly above the guaranteed average. No, guaranteed average for Saquon was 8.5.
8, yeah.
And his is 11.8
Right.
guaranteed this year.
Right.
God, that's brutal.
So
So the lesson here is they need to do something with his contract for this year and beyond, because obviously next year's cap figure, which is over $20 million, is not happening.
well, next year's they cut him, right? Because the
You have
savings
to.
are
You
huge.
have to, yeah.
So he either needs to get cut and re-sign if he wants to stay, or restructure something like we were talking about to lower his average this year and just play next year for $4 million guaranteed, right? Like restructure completely and
And I think we talked about it last time that we were all fine with him playing for that amount of
Yeah,
money.
oh,
like
absolutely.
3, 4, maybe even $5 million, something like that.
Yeah.
Anything double digits, no,
No.
it's too much.
so next year's cap hit, like let's see, wait.
I think
Next year base salary 22.4. So he's cut.
He's not playing
he'll-
under that. So
Yeah, I think he'll work with the year and overall salary as long as he gets what he wants guaranteed. Like, that's the
yeah,
magic
but that's
number.
that's the $1 million question.
Right.
Is what is he worth guaranteed?
Yeah.
So how much would you guarantee him? I'm not even talking like the
For
number
next
of
year?
years. No. Like on any kind of rework deal, whether it's 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. Like, what would be your guaranteed number you throw out?
10 or less total.
Agree with
Yeah,
that.
because I'm thinking he's making 11 guaranteed this year. I think over
And that's
the,
multi-years. I'm not saying per year. I'm saying 2 years,
No, I know.
$10 million guaranteed, all guaranteed,
right.
fine.
So I think the 11 that he's guaranteed this year is probably the minimum he's looking to get from the Saints, because you're talking about like the rest of his career.
right.
So
He's done making money. He needs to. I know that's
he's
sad for running backs, and we
he
can talk
knows
about,
he's not going to get the 11 million per year guaranteed. He knows he's not getting
Yeah,
that.
he has no leverage.
He knows he's not getting 8 million per year guaranteed. But I think he might be asking for, all right, I'm getting 11 this year. Give me 11 for the rest of my career, and then call it a 2-year deal. I mean, 2 additional years. And
I'm fine with that.
Then
If
you're
it's
at a
11 mil over 3, I'll take that all
Then you're
day.
at a 5.5 guaranteed for the 2 years after this one.
So next
I'm
year's
fine with
cap
that.
hit is 29. So he's cut.
No, he's not playing under that.
Right.
Right.
It looks like the restructure proration, which I think is a cap hit for the cut, says $4 million. I'm not sure if that's the total or not, because
Yeah.
they converted some to roster bonus.
Yeah, bottom line, something has to happen and something will happen because the contract is not going to exist the way it
As
does
it is, right.
after this season.
Correct.
We've seen some crazy creative contracts out of Loomis before. This one's going
We
to
have, but this is what we talked about the last couple of weeks.
They've made a shift.
They're not doing that,
right.
Because they're making an effort to clean up the cap and get ahead. Or I guess not even get ahead.
I think-
catch back up.
But I
with
think
it.
he'll get creative in order to keep it cap friendly. Is what I'm saying.
Well, he'd have to be because they're not in the business right now of giving of screwing over the future cap.
Right. So they can't
Every
just,
move they've
right.
done this offseason and honestly last offseason, because we've established firmly that the Derek Carr contract is a fair contract.
Mm-hmm.
So everything they've done the last 2 off seasons has been done with getting the cap in order in mind.
Yeah. Because
And they said it's going to be a multi-year process. Like, this isn't going to be fixed in 2025. It's going to be
Right.
another off season of the same, I guess, exercise that we just done with the last 2 years. It's going to be the same thing for the next year.
yeah, it'll be interesting.
So on his career, just to kind of summarize him, he's at 5,800 rushing yards, 4.4 with 54 touchdowns. And it looks like I was wrong. It says he did not fumble last year. It was the year before he had the trouble 4 fumbles.
That's
So
a lot
it-
for him.
Yeah. And his whole career was 7. So
Yeah.
it was the year prior. I thought it was last year, but it was the year prior. Receiving
more than 50% of his career fumbles came in 1 year.
Yeah, it's crazy. 505 catches, 42-19, 23 touchdowns. So,
Career-
always
yeah.
love talking about Hall of Fame, but that's 10,000 total yards, 500 catches, 78 touchdowns. He's not in yet, in my opinion.
It's not.
It's so. I would love to see him restructure and keep him here 3 years, and he'd be a secondary role after this year, and crank out 2,000 total yards over the next 3 years, and say maybe get 6 or 7 touchdowns a year for 3 years as a more of a receiving guy.
I just want the 100 touchdowns. That's all I want.
Well, that's what he needs. He needs
needs
7 a
100.
year. So can we I would love to see him come back. And I was the first one to say I did not think he was the same player last year. I don't think he's the same player.
Agreed.
Doesn't mean I don't want him here.
I think we're all in agreement that we want him back.
I just want to
that
see
the dollar figure has to make sense.
Yeah,
Right.
the dollar figure's got to make sense, but I really do I want to see what he can do in this offense. I really think it paves the road.
Look, I think at
it's
this
not
level,
it's not even comparable how much better his situation is going to be in this offense than Carmichael's. Now, that said, it again comes down to the offensive line because it's like we got the best laid plans, right? But if the O-line doesn't execute them, then it's not going to matter again. So
I think we're all in agreement that he's probably in our top 3 favorite Saints ever, all 3 of us. And we would love for him to stick around for another, counting this year, another 3 years at least.
Yeah.
Get that 100 touchdowns.
Yep.
Be the first Saint to hit 100 touchdowns. Having a shot at the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Because honestly, he should be in the Hall of Fame. The last 3 years.
If the Hall of Fame had an eye test, you would say
if Sean Payton
he looked like that for how long? Okay, yeah, like he was in how many playoff games?
I'm not even going to say Sean Payton. He needed Breeze one more year. He needed Breeze one more year because
Breeze set him up so well.
If he could have gotten like a 16 to 18 touchdown season with Breeze, like one more of those, he's a shoe-in for the Hall of Fame.
People love replaying that Packers screen pass that he scored on where he's ran in every different direction, and McCoy or was like way out ahead of him on the block on that screenplay when he scored from 40 out. It's like Breeze had a lot to do with that. Like he waited on it perfectly, led him perfectly, enough touch on the ball. Like does Carr make that play happen? I don't know.
Let's be honest. Much like every other skill position player that Breeze blessed with his presence, Kamara was blessed.
Sure.
His stats reflected that.
Yeah.
And in the aftermath of Breeze not being here, his stats have cratered.
Yeah.
Right. Like
the lesson here is Drew Brees is infallible and the greatest Saint ever, and
made everybody better.
Well, you don't go from 5 yards a carry to 3.7 with the same offensive line if it's not Drew Brees. The only thing that was taken out of that equation was Drew Brees.
We couldn't throw the ball.
We couldn't throw the ball, and he's not.
Right, same head coach, same offensive scheme.
Right, Peyton was there that year. His drop-off year, Peyton was there.
Same players.
Yeah.
Breeze is the one component that was pulled out.
Exactly. And it sucks.
Can't really argue with it.
It sucks.
I mean, look, if he could throw left-handed, I'll take him back.
Yeah. Goddamn.
Leadership is more important than what the ball looks like. As you play.
Yeah.
You have a guy who just knows everything at all times. It's just different. And
Love that you just pumped up his ego there.
Well, it's true.
Character, guys.
This is why we need video.
He's Charlie Hustle, dude.
His fucking Rudy sitting across from me here. His eyes just lit up when you went, well, you played.
I was like,
he just went.
There are guys who can lead. And
he's seeing the way.
You see the smug look on his face right now since you said that?
Yeah, now I'm playing it up. But
just little things. and, we'll see how their careers play out. But Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow, right? There's just something different about one of those guys.
When
talent-wise, it might be the other guy. And
when 10 players know they don't have to worry about the 11th player, like the guy who's driving the ball, the guy who's driving the car, then you can play so much more confidently on your own. Like the guy that's leading us is good, so I'm going to focus on my shit. Whereas if it's, I don't know if Derek's going to run the right play, make the right audible, am I going to have to correct him if he checks into this and it's not actually that?
I'm glad Nick brought it up, the whole Herbert and Burrow thing, because it's like when you see Herbert talk, he doesn't command attention. He doesn't, I guess, what is it, charisma, whatever it is, he doesn't have it like Burrow does. I want to say it was Burrow's second year when they made it to the Super Bowl, and there was a shot in the locker room, and everybody's just yapping away, everyone's talking. Burrow walks to the center of the room, says one word, everyone shuts the fuck up and defers to him. Yeah. Literally, the entire locker room just went like silent and looked at him, and they were like, all right, whatever he's saying is more important than what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and you got to pair the charisma factor with the performance factor in order to do that, right?
Right, you can't not be talented, but
it's like Carr's trying to be, you can tell he's trying really hard to be that like energetic,
It's
smooth
manufactured.
talking guy.
it
but
doesn't-
it comes.
But you also have to be that guy.
it comes across as fake for one, and I think that's one of the biggest problems people have with Carr is how fake it obviously appears. But he doesn't even have the performance factor to pair with it right now. He's playing at a mid level. You got to be playing at a top 5, top 10 minimum level to walk in there and say you got to listen to me when I'm talking, but and actually have it happen.
Yeah, you gotta have some aspect of both. But
Yeah.
I think you never see big winners that don't have it.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree.
It's
It's rare. I mean,
that game Justin Herbert lost in Jacksonville. The guys who have it don't lose that game. Period.
No.
They just don't lose that game.
it's weird with Herbert. Not to go on too much of a tangent on him, but
It's just a good example,
It's
'cause
like he almost
same year.
prides himself on like being the quiet guy. Like they've run specials like pregame how he's like so quiet and doesn't talk to
Well,
people.
that's his
and
thing, though.
That's his personality, and it's like people
But you
are
can
like
be that. You can be that and still be the guy who everyone stops.
at
when
some
you say
point when you're
Talent-wise, he's at the top of the food
Yeah,
chain.
yeah.
He's up there with Mahomes and Allen.
raw talent. Yeah,
But something's not
yeah. I don't.
something's not there.
Maybe his new
Maybe
head coach.
Harbaugh can get it out of him.
Yeah,
Well, if he can't do it with Harbaugh, I don't know. Like
If he can't do it with Harbaugh, he's not doing it.
Harbaugh got it at Alex Smith, Colin Kaepernick, marginal guys. If he can't get it with him, and look, I think he might. His talent is, to me, off the charts.
No, it's off the charts,
Watching
but-
him play is awesome. But that was just to say, some
Just an
guys
example,
have this
right.
thing that Breeze had, and we know Carr, we know 98% of the other quarterbacks don't have it. Breeze had that. That's what
Yeah.
translates into so many. Lance Moore, Marques Colston, Alvin Kamara, Jimmy Graham. Where would they have looked if they were somewhere else? We saw it with Jimmy Graham. It was not the same thing, right? And we love him, but it was never the same thing. He had one good year of touchdown, but never had 700 yards.
That's the
Just
thing.
not the same guy.
Colson's the ultimate example.
Yeah, I don't think you can name a Breeze receiver that left the Saints and or him and did better at the next place.
Willie Snead didn't.
And it's still funny to me that you think Colson's the best receiver in Saints history.
Why is that funny?
Because he's not.
Look what Meacham did. He got cut after a $30 million
Breeze
contract.
made Colston. Every aspect of
Agree.
it.
Not every aspect of it.
The best receiver in Saints history is probably Joe Horn.
Joe
from
fucking
from a
Horn, man.
talent standpoint.
Y'all are crazy.
And a production standpoint, with
You
a
think-
shit quarterback.
Colston's better than Horn.
Get the fuck out of here. God.
That's not a wild take.
It is an absolutely wild.
Horn's 4-year run was better than any Colston 4-year run, and better than it's right up against Michael Thomas's first 4 years. It's close.
I think if there's any discussion, it's Colston versus Thomas than Colston versus Horn.
What?
Yes, in terms of talent.
As a better player,
Tell me
like-
you don't watch football without telling me you don't watch
let's put it this way, real quick. We put Colston with Aaron Brooks. Who's better, Horn or Colston?
Horn, no problem. No question.
It's Horn. I'm
No
pretty
question.
confident in that.
I mean, they're totally different types of receivers. I mean,
Yes, one of them was a great receiver on his own. The other one was manufactured and propped up by Drew Brees.
Horn's whole game was, and I'm not saying it's bad. I mean, his game was finding the soft spots in the zones, like rolling into the open.
Pull up the stats real quick.
I don't think you're getting. I don't
He's
know if
not
you're
under-
misremembering.
I don't think
He's not
Horn is
remembering.
clearing away better than Colston.
In 5 years, he made 4 Pro Bowls.
Sure. Okay. We've talked about Pro Bowls. I mean,
I get it,
All
but-
Pro, second team, first team. I don't know. I mean, not saying Colston's
come
not,
out
but
in an era where the ball was not sprayed around as much as it is now. The rules were different. Cornerbacks could absolutely mug the wide receivers back
I'm gonna
then.
look up his stats for you.
Yeah,
Hold
look,
on.
You could actually hit the
I'm
quarterback.
not saying that Horn was not a beast. And that
Horn
Horn
is
was not
so
great.
much better than Colston. It's not even.
I don't
Okay,
think
Corey,
it's
real quick.
so much better. I just don't.
In 5
So
years,
much better.
real quick. In 5 years, he had 4,000-yard seasons. One of them, he missed a game and finished with 973. Okay, and 10 touchdowns. So that
Right.
would have been 1,000 if he would have played. I think we is that the 2003. What happened? I don't remember why he missed that game, but he missed a game. Over that span, 6,300 yards in 5 years. Okay.
Yeah, I
45 touchdowns in 5 years. Hold on, we're going to get Colston too. Do we have those numbers down? Y'all got it?
I know Horn's stats are probably better.
in a different era.
This was a playoff team. This wasn't a total shit
Yeah,
team the whole
when he
time.
was-
We won a playoff
like-
game.
What targets did Brooks have that were remotely close to all of the other targets besides Colston that Breeze had.
Willie fucking Jackson, baby.
Well, yeah, I mean Willie Jackson for
Well,
that
Jack
1
was
year.
the man. Deuce McAllister, baby.
Come on.
We weren't a
We had
terrible
talent.
team. We weren't a terrible team back
That
then.
was a talented team.
And I mean,
I
compared
don't
to
think the full complement of the skill players on that team was the same as the offensive skill players that Colston played with. That were
you're
viable
saying that
options.
because of Breeze, though. Like none of those players were Pro Bowlers or All Pros or anything. None of them.
Colston stood out as a wide receiver. You could have this argument both ways. Like Colston stood out as a wide receiver 1 in an offense that isn't geared to have a wide receiver 1. You know, that's why Thomas stood out so much as an anomaly when he came on the scene.
Not an anomaly when you have a guy putting up wide receiver 1 stats of every year between Colston and Thomas. It was geared to have a number 1 wide receiver. If it wasn't geared to have a number 1 wide receiver, you would have 3 or 4 guys under 1,000 yards every year, and nobody would stand out. Every year, Colston was right around 1,000. Mm-hmm. Michael Thomas was over 1,000 when he was healthy. There was a number 1 every year. All the other guys were secondary guys.
And he had a way of making every secondary guy contribute.
Yeah.
That was Breeze's thing.
Breeze's skill was
the secondary
propping
guys
up
were-
everybody else. The guy who should be in the 3rd tier went up to the 2nd tier.
That's what I'm saying.
The guy who was in the 2nd tier went up to the 1st tier.
When Colston played, the secondary guys were raised a lot closer to
Not because of Colston.
to his level. No, but I'm saying that the quarterback throwing to him.
Colston was in actuality somewhere between a 2 and a 1 and got elevated to that higher area because of Breeze.
I think so. That's where I'm at. I'm not. This is not a knock on Colston. It's more of a how good Horn was. Colston, the one thing he had on him, he did it longer with the Saints. Mm-hmm. Now he started with the Saints. Horn started as a backup with Kansas City,
Yeah.
and came over. So he started his Saints career a little bit later. So he had a smaller window. But here's Colston's first 7 seasons before what I think was his drop off of 940 yards and 5 touchdowns. That was the year we first started to see. He was gone his 8th year, right? First 7. This is a great 7 years. 1,038, 8 touchdowns. 1,202, 11. 760 and 5, but he missed 5 games. 1,074 and 9. 1,023, 7. 1,143, 8. 1,154, 10. I think Horn has 3 seasons better than any of those seasons. Without Breeze, with Aaron Brooks. That's where I'm at. But now, what would Horn have done with Breeze and what would Colston done with Brooks? We'll never know.
You can't know that.
Prime Horn with Breeze. Oh my Lord.
When Breeze could throw deep,
oh my God,
Horn could run those routes. So
Yeah.
I just
No,
wonder.
I know. Like I'm not.
To me, it's a no-brainer. I'm not accepting any argument that Joe Horn is not the best Saints wide receiver.
And he fell off a cliff. To be
That's
fair,
good, 'cause
he
you don't-
just
that's
after
your
his
opinion.
Michael
You don't-
Thomas,
You don't
I'll
have to
take
argue
second.
with yourself.
It's just you're completely looking at it wrong. Like Breeze propped up Colston.
That can still be true, and Colston can still be the best receiver.
that can be true, but I don't think it is.
Both of
It's
those
not.
two things can.
But it's not. It
can be true.
It's not. It's simply.
But
not.
you don't think it is.
Why did Horn
He doesn't
fall
either.
from
Okay.
1,411 to 600? Did he get hurt
that
late
the-
in that season?
He was
or
old
something?
when we got him. He was like
Was
26,
that
27.
Was
once
that the
we
year
got him,
after
dude.
the Willie Roast wife thing?
That's the other thing you got to look at. He wasn't a spring
It was
chicken when
Katrina
we got
year.
him.
Katrina year's the year he fell off.
Oh
2005.
yeah.
Yep.
And he also wasn't a spring chicken when we signed him.
No, he wasn't.
That whole year was terrible for like anybody on offense.
He was born 72, so we signed him in he was 28 when we signed him.
Yeah, he was 20. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's my
28,
point.
29, 30, 31. So 28 to 32, he was down with his 33-year-old years when he fell off.
Colston was off a cliff at that age.
Yeah, he was.
That's the whole point. Like, imagine Joe Horn.
He retired before that, I think, before his 33.
But half the argument you're making for Horn is like, what if he could have stayed more years?
No,
What if
there's
he
no what
wasn't
if. The
this
argument for
age?
Joe Horn is what he,
No.
in fact, did.
I'm talking about his
Did.
5-year span.
In that 5-year span, what he did. No hypotheticals, no projections. What Horn did in that 5-year
And how
span
many more
is better than anything Colston ever
yard
did.
receiving years did Colston have than Horn?
Colston had 6
Total?
6 total.
total.
Horn had what? 4 or 5?
4. And he had a 973, but Colston had a 943.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean,
But Horn also wasted 4 years in Kansas
it's fine.
City.
Look, I don't have any issue with anyone who wants to say that they put Horn above Colston. That's
There's
fine.
just no metric
there's
available
there's
that
no.
Colston's better.
I don't. Yes, there is.
There
It's
is
just the
not.
same
There
metric
is
you're using
no-
for Horn. It's a
How?
matter of
It's
opinion.
not stats. You can't say he was better based on
He's
stats.
got more career Saints receiving yards.
Because he came in as a rookie and played with the Saints his entire career.
He has more longevity, more consistency
Look
than
at the
Horn
average
did.
per year. Who's better? That 5-year span
Right.
is
So you
insanely
can-
better than the 9 years?
I don't think it's insanely better.
He played. How many Colston play? 9 or
8
10?
or 9. 9 or
I think
But
10.
it's just like you said. It's
Maybe 10?
10.
different
10.
eras, different quarterbacks. They're not playing with the same playing field around them to say that one is so much better than the other, and you can't even make an argument.
The
Like,
only argument I'm making
there's
is
a lot of people who put Colston ahead of Horn in Saints history. Like that's
sure.
not a crazy thing, Max.
and
like-
I don't watch.
I know you weren't born yesterday in Saints Nation.
I don't
right?
even
Like, so
mind
you
it-
know that that's a thing that people.
if you want to say he's a
it's
better,
easy to say who's a better player.
if you want to say
For
he's a
you,
better
for you.
Not even close.
in Saints history, I'm okay with that too. Longevity does matter when you're talking about that. I'm saying when they were at their best, I think Joe Horn was clearly a more dynamic player than Marques Colston.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying he's a better Saint even. I'm just saying the best, the most skilled receiver.
there's a
I am. He was here 5 years. That's long enough.
there's a
You got
diff-
Gale Sayers played, 5 or 6 years and he's in the Hall of Fame.
he played
So-
7 with us, but he had fallen off. And then you got to knock him a couple points because he went to Atlanta.
yeah, that's probably a good thing to end that whole debate on. We can go on and on.
To me, it's not even close.
You've established that.
He's established it too. We don't agree on everything, and he and we're on the same page with
I
that.
think
You just-
I don't know
okay,
how we got
that-
on this
look,
tangent first off.
That's
but
what y'all think. That's fine.
I don't
Well,
know how
so
we
it's
got
what
here.
we know from watching the two play at their peak. One was a clearly better player
You
than
have
the other one.
formed an opinion from what you know. It's your opinion that Horn is better than Colston. That
I
is
think-
not a fact, and it couldn't ever be a fact. It's your opinion.
I didn't say it was a fact. I just said,
You're trying to make it sound like a fact.
well,
I think
anyone
he's
who's
the most.
anyone who's watched those two play knows that Joe Horn's a better player.
Okay, so you did it again.
No, I just said
They-
anyone
they
who watched
think-
it. I didn't
they-
sit there and say it was a fact. I said anyone who has watched those two play
Knows. You can.
knows. Yeah.
I think he's the
They
most
know that it's their opinion.
underrated offensive Saints player in their history.
That can be
Because
a thing too.
it's disregarded what he did. He's made the same amount of Pro Bowls as Michael Thomas. No Saints receiver or tight end has made
I'll
more.
give you that. Like current day Saints fans don't talk about Joe Horn enough in the whole wide receiver.
To me, it's Joe
combo.
Horn, Michael Thomas, then Colston.
Cool.
Eric Martin probably fourth.
Yeah, Eric Martin's fourth. Eric Martin was a really good player, but he
He's a
was
really
not.
good player.
He was not an incredibly
Probably,
skilled player. He was
might be able
just
to-
a really
he's
good,
fourth,
I
solid.
might be able to split this Joe Horn Colston thing into like a second episode.
We're gonna bring it back.
I
for
might be able to go back and splice this.
I mean, this is now like
The-
60 minutes of telling
the-
Corey that he's an idiot
the
about
50
it,
minute. Well, that's how you roll, Max. It's like someone has a opinion that's wildly different from mine. So
Man, it's
I'm gonna
just so
I'm gonna tell him
funny
how he's
when-
an idiot.
Well, I think Corey always sides.
It's not that crazy.
with
Corey
the
always
Super-
sides with the newer
with the Super Bowl teams.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
We've established
that's
that.
your and it's
I tend to,
it's
sure.
a fine
That's fine.
criteria. I think
I can admit that. That's
you
fine.
say the guys on the Super Bowl team are elevated because they won a Super Bowl. I try not to do that because I don't think it's always the case, but I get it. Like, we talk about offensive line, we talk about anything we talk about. You want to talk about the
Yeah.
Super Bowl team because that's the happiest Saints moment in
Yeah,
any
but
of our lives. Like, there's no debating that.
Absolutely.
And we love those players probably
Yeah.
more than their skill level was, if we're honest, except for
That's why
Drew
we think
and
Mike
John.
Bell was a good running back.
That's right.
right. Yeah, if Mike Bell plays in any other era, it's like, yeah, he was tough.
When any other team, he's trash.
Right.
Exactly.
He still should have worn longer
Anthony
longer cleats.
Hargrave. All these guys.
You got to love Anthony
Bobby
Hargrave. Come on.
McRae.
Junior Collette.
Junior Collette went on the Super Bowl team.
Was he?
And he belted some guy.
Oh, I'm thinking McRae, the other 93. But Collette was another one of those guys.
Yeah, we elevate the guys who were on the fondest memory teams.
David Thomas, the tight end.
Heath Evans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Evans was pretty good in New England, too, though.
Evans was a good fullback.
Yeah.
But Mike Carney's probably the best Saints fullback. Lorenzo Neal, maybe.
We're going there?
As a Saint, Mike Carney was the best as
Mike
a
Carney,
Saint.
yeah.
Yeah.
Lorenzo Neal had the best career.
Yeah. I can't really argue with that there. Anyway.
Lorenzo Neal was.
We got off tangent pretty good. Nice job, guys.
At least it was a singular tangent. It wasn't like we talked about 3 different topics. I mean, we went from game show to you're an idiot for Colston.
Well, you are. But we'll go ahead and leave it with that. So how many, what are we in, like an hour and a half on this one?
Hour 20.
Game show
Hour
was
20.
good.
Game show was really good.
AK's grotesquely overpaid, I think is what we figured out. But
That is the
we
big
still
takeaway.
want him
The
to-
11 million,
We
yeah.
want him to stay around anyway.
They can stretch it out 2 more years on top of this year and get that guaranteed close to something more reasonable. I mean,
Just keep the guarantees under
the
5 a
goddamn
year. I think
Ramondre
we'll be
Stevenson contract. I was like, that sucks for us trying to get anything reasonable out of AK. But
happy. Yeah, but Ramondre is not guaranteed. What is it? 17? He's guaranteed.
No, it was
he's
more.
$8
It was
mil,
more.
he's like $8 mil a year.
Yeah, and it was like $6 million a year guaranteed, wasn't it?
It was stupid for that player.
6 isn't.
But for that
It's
player,
high. No, I agree. It's high for that player, but it's
You're right.
not
17. It was 17.
17 guaranteed over 3 years.
4.
Oh,
well,
that's not awful.
Yeah, it's not terrible.
That's not terrible.
$8 million signing bonus, 17 guaranteed, 36 total value, average annual salary
So that's
of
the thing.
9.
So if we guarantee-
9 average annual salary.
But that, like,
If we guaranteed Kamara 17 mil over 4 years, I wouldn't be upset.
yeah, that'd be fine.
I'd be fine with that.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I think his like when you see his total number come out, I think people might shit a brick because it could be like extremely higher than we want it to be in terms of just like looking at a pure number. But if you break it down, the guarantee is probably going to come.
Well, that's all you need to look
You
at.
know,
is the guarantee.
yeah.
Honestly, give him the Ramondre Stevenson contract, and I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
He's 17's guaranteed, but he gets over 6 of it in year 1. 2024 cash is 6.2.
That's fine. He's like 25, 26.
What's the
That's
thing
fair.
about AK in total? You know, hopefully he'll work with us at arm's length and he can say like, look, you're already getting 11 this year. You know, so whatever the rest of your contract is, let's talk about that.
I'm okay with AK getting the Ramondre Stevenson contract.
Yeah.
But I think with that, we'll go ahead and wrap it up.
Yep.
So any closing thoughts?
Nope, I think it shook out probably where we expected,
Yeah.
unfortunately. We wish it looked a little better, but I think other than a couple debatable ones, it was pretty decisive over who we think's better than him
Yeah,
right
what was
now.
the average?
Average
19s,
20,
21st, 22?
20 and a half is the
20 and a
average.
half? Okay. That's about right. That's
Yeah.
what I would have guessed.
It is what it is.
Painful to put that many people above AK.
For somebody who's making the
But-
second most in the league at the position, though, that's a little upsetting.
Those 2 contracts, and we didn't get in Thomas on purpose, but he's still unsigned, right?
Yep.
So those 2 contracts really set us back. I mean, and you would never know that from when we signed them. We knew it was a lot for both. We all thought it, but with the production you got out of both of those contracts, it really hindered
But
us.
we thought they were like, not that anybody is breeze proof, but we thought that they could continue to perform, wouldn't have a drop off without
Right.
Breeze.
And they both.
Thomas had the big year the first year of the contract. The injury fucked
But
him.
you paid him 4 more years since then, right?
Yeah.
Because we re-signed him last year, so 4 years, and you got almost nothing. You got
Peyton fucked him. Fucked his career by leaving him in
against the
garbage
Falcons.
time in week
Yep.
1.
rubbing it in.
Just
Yep.
unnecessary.
All right, well, finish this up.
All right. Any other tangents?
No, I think we're good. So thanks for
All
listening
right.
to another episode of 28-3 Podcast. Who dat?
Boom.
What a comeback!